His father pulled the trigger at the altar. The bullet was meant for her, but he took it. Now she's holding her dying fiancé in a blood-soaked wedding dress while his Korean Mafia father screams that their love was always forbidden. This is the moment Zainab realized some families would rather kill than let their son marry a black woman. She reached for his hand. His father pulled the trigger. The bullet tore through the chapel. She couldn't scream. He couldn't stand. The wedding dress turned red. 3 months earlier, she was just a nurse. He was just a patient with a gunshot wound. She had no idea saving his life would make his father want to end hers. His name was Minho. Korean Mafia. Dangerous, untouchable. Her name was Zainab. Nigerian, fearless. Everything his world said he couldn't have. His father gave him a choice. Marry the Korean bride, or watch the African woman die. He chose love. His father chose violence. What happened next changed everything. Before I tell you how we got here, you need to understand something. This isn't just a love story. This is a war. And the first shot was fired 6 months ago in the back of a Mercedes in Koreatown. That's where it all began. Zainab never imagined her nursing shift at Cedars-Sinai would end with her treating a gunshot wound in a Mercedes outside a nightclub in Koreatown at 2 in the morning. But there she was, hands shaking, pressing gauze against the shoulder of the most dangerously beautiful man she'd ever seen, while his cold-eyed associates watched her every move. "You're going to be fine," she whispered to him in the back seat, her Nigerian accent thick with fear. "But you need a hospital." "No hospitals." His voice was ice despite the pain. "Fix it here." "I can't just fix a bullet wound in a car. I'm a nurse, not a miracle worker." His dark eyes locked onto hers. "Then I die here. Your choice." Her hands moved on instinct, years of training overriding her terror. She cleaned, stitched, and bandaged while sweat dripped down her spine. When she finished, he caught her wrist. His grip was gentle but absolute. "Your name?" "Zainab. Zainab Okonkwo." "Minho? Park Minho." He released her. "You saved my life tonight. That means you're mine now." "Excuse me? I'm not anyone's property?" The corner of his mouth lifted. Not quite a smile. "We'll see." They left her on that street corner with $10,000 cash and a warning to forget everything. She should have run. She should have taken that money and disappeared. But fate had other plans. If you love intense Afro Korean love stories that keep you on the edge, hit that subscribe button right now for Afro Korean Veil. Drop a like, comment what you think will happen next, and share this with someone who loves emotional K-drama style stories. Trust me, you don't want to miss where this goes. 3 days later, Minho appeared at her apartment building, leaning against a black Range Rover like he owned the world. "Dinner. Tonight." Zainab crossed her arms over her scrubs. "I don't date criminals." "Good. I don't date judgmental nurses. This is business. You interest me." "Why? Because I didn't let you bleed out?" "Because you weren't afraid to give me orders while my blood was on your hands. Because you're still standing here arguing instead of running." He opened the car door. "One dinner, then decide if you want to run." She got in the car. That decision would change everything. The restaurant was empty, except for them, a private Korean barbecue place in the heart of K-Town. Minho grilled the meat himself, his movements precise and controlled. Everything about him was controlled, except when he looked at her. "Tell me about Nigeria," he said, pouring soju into her glass. "Why?" "Because you're here and it's there. That interests me." Zainab found herself talking about Lagos, about her mother's jollof rice recipe that no one in LA could replicate, about medical school dreams crushed by her father's death and her family's debt, about coming to America for opportunities that felt more like survival. "And you?" she asked. "What makes a Korean man become whatever you are?" "Legacy." His jaw tightened. "My father built an empire. I maintain it, whether I want to or not." "You could walk away." "Could you? Walk away from your family? From duty?" She had no answer for that. Neither did he. And in that silence, something dangerous was born. The dinners continued. 1 became 5, became 20. Minho showed her a Los Angeles she'd never seen. Private art galleries, rooftop gardens where the city lights looked like fallen stars. Late-night drives up the coast where he finally smiled. Really smiled. And she realized she was falling for a man who probably had blood on his hands. But falling in love across cultures isn't just about feelings. It's about collision. Zainab brought him to a Nigerian restaurant in Inglewood. Watched him struggle with fufu and egusi soup, his chopstick precision useless against the sticky cassava dough. "You eat it with your hands," she laughed, demonstrating. "Like this." He watched her, fascinated. In Korea, that would be disrespectful. In Nigeria, eating fufu with a spoon is what's disrespectful. You taste it better this way. Feel the texture. He tried, made a mess. She laughed so hard she cried, and he looked at her like she was the sun. "This is dangerous," she told him one night, 2 months in, as they sat in his penthouse overlooking downtown. "Whatever this is between us." "I know." He touched her face, thumb tracing her cheekbone. "You should go. Forget me. Is that what you want?" His kiss was his answer, desperate and gentle and absolutely certain. When he pulled back, his forehead rested against hers. "I've done terrible things, Zainab. Things that would make you hate me. Tell me." "No. Because I'm selfish. Because I want you to look at me like this for as long as possible." That's when she knew she loved him, and that it would destroy her. She just didn't know his father would be the one holding the weapon. Meeting his father was inevitable. Zainab prepared herself, wore her best dress, practiced her greetings. She learned to bow properly, studied basic Korean honorifics, wanted to make a good impression. Nothing prepared her for the contempt in Park Sang-woo's eyes when she walked into that mansion in Beverly Hills. The old man sat like a king, expensive suit, steel hair, and a smile that cut like glass. He didn't stand, didn't bow, didn't acknowledge her beyond a dismissive glance. "So, this is the African girl causing problems?" Zainab's spine straightened. "I'm Nigerian, and I'm not causing anything." "You're a distraction. Worse, you're a disgrace." He switched to Korean, speaking to Minho as if she wasn't there. But Zainab had been learning. She understood enough. He called her that black girl. Said she was after money. Said Minho was embarrassing the family, the business, everything they'd built. Said Korean blood didn't mix with her kind. Minho's response was quiet, lethal. "Speak about her again like that. And blood or not, we're finished." Zainab grabbed his arm. "Don't, let's just go." In the car, Minho's hands shook on the steering wheel. "I'm sorry, he's a bigot and a bastard, but he's still my father. I know what I'm getting into." "No, you don't." He looked at her with something like despair. "He'll never accept this. Us. He'll make both our lives hell until you leave, or I choose the family over you. Then we fight." "Zainab, I'm not some delicate thing that breaks, Minho. I survived Lagos. I survived leaving everything I knew. I can survive your father." But she underestimated how far Sang-woo would go, how deep his hatred ran, how much power he truly had. The threats started small. Zainab's hours at the hospital were cut without explanation. Her student visa renewal was mysteriously delayed, trapped in bureaucratic red tape that shouldn't exist. Her apartment building received noise complaints that were never made. Bills appeared that she never incurred. Her car was towed from legal parking spots. Minho fought back, but his father controlled more than either of them realized. Every move Minho made to protect her, Sang-woo countered with something worse. This was a chess game, and Zainab was the piece being sacrificed. Then Sang-woo played his real card, the one neither of them saw coming. Zainab was working a night shift when Minho burst into the hospital, wild-eyed and furious. He pulled her into an empty room, his hands shaking, his face drained of color. "He has your mother." Her world stopped. "What? He sent men to Lagos? They have your mother. He says if I don't end this with you, if I don't marry the daughter of his business partner like he's planned for years, he'll kill her." Zainab couldn't breathe. The room spun. "You're lying." Minho showed her his phone. A video. Her mother, terrified, in some dark room, bound, gagged, a voice in Korean giving coordinates, a deadline, proof of life with today's newspaper. 72 hours. I marry Lee Yuna or your mother dies. Those are his terms. "So, what are you going to do?" Her voice broke. "I'm going to kill him." "Minho, no. He crossed a line. He touched your family. That's a death sentence." "And then what? You go to prison? You start a war, I lose you anyway." Minho grabbed her shoulders. "What do you want me to do, Zainab? Watch your mother die? Marry another woman while you suffer? Tell me, because I'll do anything you ask." She realized then what love really cost, what it demanded, what it would take from her. Marry her. What? Zainab's tears fell hot and fast. "Marry Lee Yuna. Save my mother. End this." "You can't ask me to do that." "I'm not asking. I'm begging. Please, Minho, please." She collapsed against him. "I can't let my mother die because I fell in love with the wrong man." He held her like she was breaking, like they both were, like the world was ending and they were the only two people left alive to witness it. The wedding was announced 3 days later. Park Minho to marry Lee Yuna, uniting two powerful families. The Korean community celebrated. The business world approved. Society pages gushed about the perfect match. Zainab watched it all from her apartment, numb, as her mother was quietly released and sent home to Lagos, confused but alive. Her mother called, crying, asking what happened. Zainab lied, said it was a mistake, a misunderstanding, told her she was safe now. Minho called every day. She never answered. Every text went unread. Every voicemail deleted without listening. She couldn't hear his voice, couldn't let herself hope, couldn't survive the sound of him choosing duty over her, even though she'd begged him to. Until the night he showed up at her door, drunk, devastated, looking like a ghost of the man she loved. "I can't do this. I can't marry her." "You have to." "Then come with me. Run away. We'll disappear. Forget my father. Forget the business. Forget everything. And let your father hunt us for the rest of our lives. Let my family become targets. Be realistic, Minho." He grabbed her face. "I don't care about realistic. I care about you, only you." They fell into each other like drowning people. Desperate, inevitable, wrong. One last night before he belonged to someone else. One last night to pretend the world wasn't tearing them apart. Afterwards, tangled in her sheets, Minho whispered, "I have a plan. Don't. Listen to me. I marry Yuna for appearance, but I destroy my father from the inside. I take everything he built and burn it down. Then I come back to you, free. How long will that take? 6 months, maybe a year. A year of you married to someone else. A marriage in name only. I'll never touch her, never love her. You're all I want, Zainab. You're all I'll ever want. She wanted to believe him. God, she wanted to believe. But love doesn't conquer all. Sometimes it just makes the losing hurt more. The wedding came too fast. Zainab told herself she wouldn't watch, wouldn't torture herself. She'd stay home, work a shift, forget the date entirely. But she found herself outside the cathedral anyway, in the crowd of onlookers, watching Minho in his tuxedo looking like a man walking to his execution. His face was stone, empty, like he'd died inside and was just going through the motions. Then Lee Yuna arrived. Beautiful, graceful, perfect. Everything a Korean daughter-in-law should be. Traditional hanbok for the ceremony, elegant and refined. Everything Zainab wasn't. Everything this world would accept. She turned to leave. That's when she saw them. Sangwoo's men, moving through the crowd with purpose, moving toward the cathedral. One of them lifted his jacket slightly. Gun. Zainab's nursing instincts screamed. Something was wrong. Terribly wrong. This wasn't wedding security. This was an execution squad. She pushed through the crowd, running. Security tried to stop her, but she was screaming Minho's name, screaming about guns, about danger. People thought she was crazy. A jealous ex-girlfriend making a scene. The scorned black woman disrupting the perfect Korean wedding. She burst through the chapel doors just as Minho turned, just as his eyes found hers across the aisle, just as she saw Sangwoo standing in the back, face twisted with rage, raising a gun. Minho! Time fractured. Minho saw the gun, saw his father, saw Zainab running toward him. He moved on instinct, pushing Yuna aside, diving toward Zainab. The shot rang out. Glass exploded, screams erupted, chaos consumed the chapel. And Zainab caught Minho as he fell, his blood hot and wet against her hands, soaking into her clothes. His eyes locked on hers. But here's what Zainab learned in that moment. What she understood with perfect clarity as she caught Minho before he hit the ground. Sangwoo wasn't aiming for his son. The bullet's trajectory was wrong. He was aiming for her, and Minho took the bullet meant for her heart. Stay with me, she sobbed, pressing her hands against the wound, years of nursing training kicking in even as her heart shattered. Stay with me, please. Minho's lips moved, blood on his teeth. Told you, you're mine. Security finally restrained Sangwoo. Police sirens wailed outside. Yuna stood frozen in horror, her perfect wedding destroyed. And Zainab did what she did best. She saved him. In the ambulance, racing toward Cedar Sinai, Minho's hand found hers, his grip weak but determined. Marry me. For real this time. You're delirious from blood loss. I'm serious. Marry me, Zainab Okonkwo. Make me the happiest dying man alive. You're not dying. I won't let you. Is that a yes? Ask me when you're not bleeding out. That's a yes. He was right. It was. Minho survived surgery. 6 hours on the operating table. The bullet missed his heart by 2 centimeters. 2 centimeters between life and death. Between a future together and a funeral. His father went to prison for attempted murder, and in his absence, the empire crumbled. Minho dismantled what remained, piece by piece, selling off legitimate businesses and exposing the criminal operations to authorities. He burned it all down like he promised. Chose love over legacy. Chose her over everything his father built. It took 6 months. 6 months of investigations, trials, and testifying. 6 months of Minho choosing love over legacy. 6 months of Zainab learning that sometimes the right choice is the hardest one. That sometimes love requires sacrifice that leaves scars. They married quietly. No cathedral, no crowds, no elaborate ceremonies or society pages. Just them, a courthouse, and Zainab's mother on video call from Lagos, crying happy tears, finally understanding what her daughter had survived. Their first night as husband and wife, in their small apartment far from mansions and empires. Minho cooked Nigerian jollof rice. It was terrible. The rice was mushy, the seasoning all wrong. He used the wrong kind of tomatoes and forgot the bay leaves entirely. "This is awful." Zainab laughed. "I know. Your turn to make Korean food tomorrow." "Deal." He pulled her close. "We're really doing this. Building something new." Terrified yet? Absolutely. But here's the truth about love across cultures, across backgrounds, across every barrier the world puts up. It's not about grand gestures or perfect moments. It's about choosing each other every single day. It's about learning to make jollof rice and kimchi jjigae. It's about teaching each other languages and traditions. It's about Minho learning to greet Zainab's aunties properly, and Zainab understanding Korean family hierarchy. It's about fighting against hate with something stronger. 6 months after the wedding, Zainab found out she was pregnant. Minho cried when she told him. Actually cried. Tears streaming down his face as he held her. "What if I'm like him?" he whispered. "What if I hurt our child the way he hurt me?" "You won't, because you're choosing love. Every day, you're choosing love." Their daughter was born in spring. They named her Amara, which means grace in Igbo. Her middle name was Yoonji, meaning kindness in Korean. She had Minho's eyes and Zainab's smile, and she was perfect. A bridge between two worlds. In the hospital room, holding his daughter, Minho looked at Zainab with wonder. "Thank you." "For what?" "For not running, for fighting, for saving me in every way a person can be saved. Thank you for taking a bullet meant for me. I'd take 1,000 more. Let's aim for 0 more bullets." "Deal." They laughed. They cried. They were exhausted and terrified and absolutely certain. This is where the story could end. But life isn't neat like that. Redemption is complicated. Forgiveness is messy. Sang-woo got out on parole 2 years later. He showed up at their door one evening, older, broken, barely recognizable. Cancer had eaten away at him. Chemotherapy had stolen his hair, his strength, his arrogance. "I came to meet my granddaughter." Zainab's hand tightened on the door. "No. Please, I'm dying. Cancer. 6 months, maybe. I just want to see her. Once." Minho appeared behind Zainab. "Get out. Son, I'm not your son. Not anymore. You lost that right when you tried to kill the woman I love." Sang-woo's eyes filled with tears. Real tears. The kind that come from facing death and realizing you wasted your life on hate. I know what I did. I was wrong. About everything. She's good for you. She saved you. I see that now. Too late. But Zainab surprised them both. She put her hand on Minho's arm. "Let him see her. 5 minutes. In the living room where we can watch." "Zainab, forgiveness isn't for him. It's for us. So we don't become bitter. So we don't pass down hate to our daughter." It was the hardest 5 minutes of Minho's life. Watching his father hold Amara, watching tears stream down that weathered face, watching him whisper apologies in Korean to a baby who couldn't understand, watching the man who tried to destroy them crumble under the weight of what he'd lost. When time was up, Sang-woo handed her back. "She's beautiful. Like her mother." He looked at Zainab. "I'm sorry for everything. You deserved better." "Yes, I did. We both did. He nodded, left, died 4 months later. And somehow, knowing they'd given him grace in his final days made everything lighter, made the future brighter. Years passed. Amara grew. They had a son next, called him Chidi, meaning God exists. Raised them in both cultures, both languages, both traditions. Taught them that love was bigger than borders, stronger than hate, worth every sacrifice. Taught them to make both jollof rice and bulgogi, to speak Igbo and Korean, to bow and to hug, to honor both sides of who they were. Zainab finished medical school, became a doctor, opened a clinic in Koreatown that served both the Korean and African immigrant communities. Minho started a legitimate security business, using his knowledge of the criminal world to protect people instead of exploit them. They built a life that was messy and beautiful and entirely theirs. And sometimes, late at night, they'd sit on their balcony overlooking Los Angeles, and Minho would take her hand. Do you ever regret it? Everything we went through? Never. Not for a second. Even the bullet? Especially the bullet, because it proved you'd literally die for me. Dramatic. You love it. I love you. I know. This is where the story ends. Not with perfection, but with choice. The choice to love across differences. The choice to fight for what matters. The choice to build something new from the ashes of what tried to destroy you. Because sometimes the greatest love stories aren't about destiny. They're about decision. The decision to stay when running would be easier. The decision to fight when surrendering would be safer. The decision to love when hate would be simpler. Zainab and Minho chose each other every single day. Through bullets and blood and bigotry, through cultural clashes and family wars and impossible odds. And that made all the difference. So what do you think? Could you forgive someone like Sang-woo? Would you have run or stayed? Would you have let Minho marry another woman to save your mother? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if this story kept you hooked until the very end, do me a favor. Hit that like button. Subscribe to Afro Korean Veil for more intense emotional stories like this one. And share this with someone who loves dramatic romance. What should our next story be about? Korean Chaebol heir and Ghanaian artist? Japanese Yakuza and Kenyan diplomat? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.